The last time a team that was up 2-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals lost that series was Roberto Luongo's 2011 Vancouver Canucks. They had a 2-0 lead against Boston, and then the Canucks proceeded to only win one of the next 5 games. Now, Roberto Luongo's Florida Panthers in 2024 also had a 2-0 series lead, this time against the Edmonton Oilers. What was going to come out of game number 3? Would Lou and his squad falter down and give up a very important third game this time around once more? No, they won't. The Florida Panthers have defeated the Edmonton Oilers 4-3 in game number 3 of their 2024 Stanley Cup Finals series, and the most important part about that is that they did so without a perfect Sergei Bobrovsky performance. Now, yes, he did let in 3 goals. Yes, some of those goals may not have been the most, let's just say, savable. One of them was off of his own guy. The other one was off of a tip in front. I mean, it's not really likely that a goaltender is going to save all of those opportunities, but the Florida Panthers, off the heels of what was a fantastic second period, pretty much decided, hey, we're going to win this game. That second period was a bad one for the Edmonton Oilers. It lost them the game, you could say. It lost them maybe even the series. That is assuming the Oilers don't come back and win this series somehow in 7 games. I mean, kind of funny how both of the finals going on right now are in 3-0 spots. Edmonton and Dallas, y'all have more in common than we thought you did. And no, I'm not referring to the Dallas Stars. This is going to be crazy to see because in Game 4, Games 5, 6, and 7, if needed, the Stanley Cup will be in the building. Heck, the Cup was in the building for Game 1 for some reason. But this game ultimately featured more of the same Florida Panthers dominance that we have come to expect out of this unit. You have fantastic defensive shutdown performances out of guys like Ekblad and Gustav Forsling. Ekblad in particular, the play at the end of the game to hold the puck on the boards with his skates, just kind of kill off the clock. He's not trying to move it. He's not trying to get it out. He's just trying to keep it there because he knew that was the best, most winnable play out of that little scrum. It worked. It allowed the Panthers to take the dub. Gustav Forsling was doing his thing, monitoring Connor Mack, and when all gets beaten, when the best defense pairing in the NHL right now gets taken out, you had Sergei Bobrovsky on the doorstep to make just some incredible saves, as he had. I think he had like 5, 6 high-danger saves in this game. The Ryan McLeod one in the third period, arguably the most important one. But if we go over to the score, we talk about each of the goals here. I mean, I'm going to be honest, the goals, who cares about the goals? That's not the story here of this game. The story is the Edmonton Oilers almost pulling off a comeback, but not being able to beat that Bobrovsky wall as many times as they needed to. For completionist's sake, though, let's go out there and talk about the goals. First goal of the game, it is a 4v4, 4-on-4 shift by the Florida Panthers, where a pretty good steal is made by Aleksander Barkov. He drops it over Gustav Forsling. Forsling goes right across, and it's tipped in backdoor by Sammy Reinhart. Unfortunately, Skinner a little bit too far out of his crease, forcing against the shot rather than noticing the guy in the back door. You want to see your defenseman take away that pass, I get it, but at the same time, I mean, it was Mattias Ekholm back there who just got totally beaten out by Sam Reinhart, and I think the puck might have gone off of his skate or whatever. It's 1-0 Florida, and then in the second period, look, a minute in, you get yourselves a Warren Foegele goal. Awesome. That's what you needed to see here. Build up some of that momentum. The Oilers have a ton of shots. It's a beautiful breakaway feed, and Foegele makes no mistake beating Bob top glove side. But then afterwards, that's when the Florida Panthers just show up. They say, hey, it's a tie game. We don't like that it's a tie game. We're going to start going out there and plummeting all of these opportunities on net on Stuart, Skinner, and they weren't even like the best chances, but they still worked. I mean, there's a slight miscommunication behind the net of the Oilers. Stuart Skinner gets his signals crossed. The puck gets centered out for Tarasenko, who's essentially got an open net to fire at. Next goal, Sam Bennett. Okay, it's off of a good steal, centering pass, and Tkachuk to Bennett. It's in the back of the net. And then just 2 minutes later, you had Aleksander Barkov make it 4-1. Ay. The Florida Panthers scoring 3 goals in the span of a few minutes here. And it's a beautiful 2-on-1 play. Barkov walks right in, beats Skinner. This is where you start to notice, yeah, I don't really know if Skinner is an NHL Stanley Cup caliber goaltender. Just with some of these goals. Like, sure, he had some good games throughout this playoffs, but when it's Bob versus Stu, you could really see the difference in goaltending quality. And this came to play in the second period, where the Oilers didn't really have much going for them. The Panthers had all the momentum, and it carried over into the third. Now, sure, the third period was a lot better for the Oilers. They didn't really dominate it, quote-unquote. I mean, the shots were pretty even. 5-6 for the Florida Panthers, or excuse me, 6-5 for the Oilers. But Philip Broberg's goal to make it 4-2, a very weird one. He shoots it way too high. It goes off the Florida defenseman behind Bobrovsky and in. And then you have Ryan McLeod on a long drive tip-in. It's shot by Brett Kulak. McLeod is there for the tip. It is a 4-3 game. Now this, of course, hey, it's great to see the Oilers beat Sergei Bobrovsky 3 times in a game, twice in a period. You didn't see that happen in the first 2 games, but ultimately, it's too little too late. The comeback was possible, but the Oilers could not capitalize. The Florida Panthers tightened down. You even saw, for parts in that third period, the Panthers weren't even trying to score anymore. They just held it in the Oilers zone, cycled it around. They were O-zone ragging, as us in the NHL EA Sports community like to call it. They were just killing the clock. They didn't want to score. They want to say, hey, we have a good enough team to clamp it down defensively. That's what we're going to do. We're going to win this game 4-3 or 4-2. We're not going to need to win this game 5-4 or 6-5. We're going to clamp it down and make sure these Oilers have a difficult time as any scoring a goal in the last 20 minutes of this game. And for the most part, they succeeded. And they're heading back over into Game 4, still at Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta. The cup could be awarded here in Canada, but for the third time in the span of 4 years, 5 seasons, it could be awarded to a team from Florida. So Canada's team, I don't know, man. They're not really giving Canada much to cheer for when you take a look at how they're performing in these games. I mean, it's a lot of doomer language going on now in Edmonton Oilers' social media discourse, which I totally understand. I mean, it's perfectly justified here. You fight and you fight and you make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, you exercise your demons, you finally win a third-round game, but now the same problem from 2 years ago is bringing itself back up again. If the Oilers lose on home ice and they get swept in the Cup Final, it would maybe be the ultimate stain on what was a fairly good run, I would say, for McDavid and Draisaitl. I'd say the one a few years ago where they were at over 2 points a game was much better, but still, this run had a lot of things going for it. It's just now, I mean, you have yourselves at the helm of one of the most insurmountable mountains that you can climb in sports in general. Are the Oilers going to be able to come back from being down 3-0? Can they do this, or is it Jover? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.